All right, time to piss people off. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Ranger Central, where we're continuing our series here of free agent trade targets, whatever you want to say. And today we are going to be talking about Max Domi. Before we jump into everything, please be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Ranger fan, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. Might be the weirdest player that we talk about here, right? Because Max Domi, a guy that has been like a respectable player for the most part, outside of those years in Columbus he had, really. But even then, those were shortened seasons. Been a consistent guy where he'll put up 40 to 50 points, and then he also did have a 70-point season with Montreal. But a guy that's bounced around a lot in the league, surprisingly, underratedly. But in terms of Max Domi, because I'm not going to waste time, I'm just going to jump straight into it. 47 points in 80 games this year, 9 goals, 30 assists. Probably looking at that and saying, not great considering he played with superstars. I'm about to change your mind, though, in a minute. He had 4 points in 7 playoff games, 13 and 19 with Dallas last year, which is pretty good, actually, after doing really good in Chicago, which he played next to Patrick Kane in Chicago, I'm pretty sure, and that helped inflate both guys' production, honestly, because Patrick Kane was off to a slow start that year, and then Max Domi was really the one that was having a very good year for that team. But again, like, you look at Carolina, wasn't that impressive there. And even in that series when the Rangers matched up against them in 2021-22, I really wasn't all that impressed with a guy like Domi. Columbus didn't really move me. Montreal and Arizona, you know, I respect them a lot more there in terms of, like, the name value there. But we get to the player card, and a lot of interesting stuff. A guy that plays physical, but surprisingly does not have good forechecking numbers. I don't know if that's a thing that was just of this year or if it was, oh wow, Chicago too. But do we talk it up to being no, this guy is just so he's the most physical player to be the word. He's the most physical garbage forechecker in the world, maybe. I don't know. But it looks like Domi's forechecking numbers aren't good, so not off to a great start there. But he's not bad with zone entries, which could be again, just a system thing that he's just never been in a system where it's just straight line hockey. Don't know if it's a matter of that or what, but pretty good in his own end too in terms of the, you know, retrievals and breakout numbers. But a lot of that, of course, is, you know, difficult to judge with a winger, especially since they're usually the first guys out. And then you look at what I was going to talk about, the 5v5 numbers. This guy had 44 of his 47 points at 5v5 this year. 8 goals, 36 assists. Again, you could argue that a lot of that is a little bit of luck because of the fact that he's playing with good line mates that were able to get him those 36 assists. But 44 points and even strength has to be towards the top of the Rangers roster at 5v5 production at the very least. Like, I'm not sure off the top of my head the order of what it was. Panarin was definitely one, but still, he would be up there. And then you look at this, like, there's a lot of things that just don't make sense about this guy, Domi. So, his goals for per 60 was through the roof. Expected goals for per 60, a little down. Shows that he got lucky, but still above average. You go to previous years, I mean, he still put up serviceable points despite it being the other way around there. And then you go back, and he's never been a guy that's good, particularly in his own end, despite, you know, this is why I said the all three zones model. It's hard to judge like the D-zone retrievals and exits because he's always, you know, the first guy out. You want to look more at this stuff where not necessarily the greatest, but then again, he's also played on pretty poor defensive teams like the Leafs, like the Blackhawks, like the Columbus Blue Jackets, like the, that was still the Blue Jackets, but like teams the Coyotes and teams like that, which the Rangers obviously still have work to do if they want to be a better defensive team. But again, just weird stuff for Max Domi. And then you look at how he would look on the roster. Not a friendly contract that he's projected to get from Evolving Hockey, which is 4 years, $4.6 million, which essentially a bit of the Hedl deal that you already have. And pretty much similar to Hedl in the regard that you might want to slot him in as your third line center every now and then, or you might want to slot him in on the wing. So you do have a little bit of flexibility with a guy like Domi. And again, I said this with Arvidsson, come the deadline when cap opens up, maybe you're not happy with the way Othman's been playing, you just go ahead and option him down. And then you have Domi and Cooley on your third line, which could be a pain in the ass third line to go against. And that could be something to look at. Or even then, you could, you know, send a guy like Edstrom down if he's still not looking ready. Maybe Othman does look good. put him down on the third line. You get Othman, Heedle, Domi, and then Cooley down on that fourth line. Stuff like that. By the way, Truba was trade for nothing in this one because I didn't feel like restarting the cat friendly from the video I uploaded earlier with Carrier. But when it comes to Domi, I think that he would be a solid versatile piece. I think he would be what they need in terms of physicality. But in terms of what they need as a fit, I question, because Meek and Kreider, like I keep saying, they've asked for a passenger. Well, Max Domi's definitely a guy that's a passenger. He's a guy that is going to be setting up the plays for these two. It would be a matter of these guys driving the play. But nothing from the past few years have shown me that these two could drive play right now, which is the thing that's very alarming. But then, again, you look at some of the D-zone stuff, not worried about that playing with these two because of the fact that he would end up, playing with guys that are pretty responsible in their own end. And again, I don't know. It's just such weird stuff with Max Domi in terms of the numbers, because it tells you that he'll play good with elite players around him, but I feel like you want a guy more ideally that could chip in goals. And it also just makes no sense, the fact that he has bad forechecking numbers, despite the fact that he does play physical. Again, this is where the eye test tells more, and I can't really say much from the eye test. I did watch a handful of Leaf games, and I did feel it was maybe better than what the charts are indicating. But I do think there's a slight fit with Domi, but I also question a bit, because I do think this contract is steep. If he's willing to go more in like the 3.5 ballpark, I think that's more of a range that the Rangers would be interested in for a guy that could play up and down the lineup more. But at 4.6, I don't know if this is the guy you want to spend that much of your cap on, because in terms of the percentage that would take up 5.3% of your cap, that's more than Phil Peedle. Lafreniere obviously needs an extension, then he'll take up more. And then Miller, Jones, Shesterkin, like we talked about ad nauseum, all those guys are going to need extensions. It's a lot of your cap to take up for a guy like Max Domi, which I don't know if that's necessarily ideal, which again, projections could be off when it comes to this sort of thing. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think the fit's there if he's willing to sign at that price point, more the 3.5-3 million price point versus the 4.6 that Evolving Hockey hasn't projected that. But let me know your thoughts, because a lot of you guys have suggested that you want Domi. So do you guys still want him after looking at the stuff? Do you guys not want him? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe too. Turn on your notifications, as the grind is not stopping here. We're trying to upload 2 of these a day. Doing my best to, at least, because we only have a handful of days already until free agency kicks off, and I want to get all these videos out before then. So we got a lot of work to do when it comes to that, so you don't want to miss out on it. So yeah, turn on your notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one.